Have you heard about this wild theory about a super intelligent predator species? I came across it in a sci-fi book, Blindside, and it popped up again on
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
I've heard this. Yeah.
So the book, it proposes that this species evolved alongside humans, but
We're way smart.
their intelligence,
It's like,
it surpasses ours
yeah, they're hominids, but
in ways we can't even fathom. Yeah.
it's right. Wild.
The book describes them as basically like using their intelligence as a weapon. Like they wouldn't need brute force, when they could outsmart us. Like
Probably
as easily as we outsmart, I don't know.
a fly applecat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The author makes a comparison to lions and gazelles. It's a good one. The lions don't use brute strength necessarily. It's strategy, it's cunning, it's intelligence. This theoretical species would operate on a similar level, but with human intelligence as the playing field.
It's kind of creepy to think about.
It is a little bit.
There's a twist. Their diet. They need this specific enzyme.
Oh, yeah.
Found only in... This is where the fun in fun theory comes in.
Human blood, yeah.
This is where it gets interesting. We think blood-drinking creatures and we go right to vampires.
Right.
But this species wouldn't need a whole lot of blood. Just a little bit.
Which makes them very efficient predators.
Super fish.
The book even tries to explain the whole,
classic weakness.
vampire crucifix thing.
Yeah, they call it the crucifix glitch.
Oh, okay. So it's not a religious thing?
It's not superstition, no. It's neurological.
Oh, interesting.
The species in the book has like a super advanced visual cortex made for hunting, but it also makes them vulnerable.
To like look right.
Right angles
Oh,
in
yeah.
human-made structures. So the authors suggest that exposure to right angles could trigger seizures in their brains.
I see.
Think about it. As humans started using Euclidean geometry and architecture, cities would become really dangerous for these creatures.
Yeah, that makes sense. So their evolutionary
Their
advantage
strength became their weak link.
began their downfall. Wow. It's a fascinating way to look at how even the most advanced adaptations
It can have unintended consequences.
yeah, exactly.
And it raises a good question about human intelligence and maybe our vulnerabilities.
Right. Like we tend to view our intelligence as the peak of,
The top
of evolution. But
what if we're wrong?
what if it has
What if there's something we haven't encountered yet that
hidden weaknesses
could wipe us out?
that we don't know about?
Yeah. It's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
Blindside explores that idea. It even suggests that humans might be, think about this, a pest species.
A pest species
Thriving only because this natural predator was wiped out by our own
by accident.
ingenuity, yeah.
So like we
I
accidentally
removed a check and balance.
removed something that would have kept our
Our population in check.
population in check.
Yeah. The author doesn't say this is definitely true, but it's an interesting part of the story.
Yeah. And Joe Rogan was really interested in this.
Oh, he loved it.
He was really into it.
Oh, yeah.
And he was fascinated by a story the author mentioned about a pharmaceutical company trying to bring this species back
Oh,
through
God.
gene therapy.
Yeah. That sounds dangerous, right?
It's like playing God almost. You know what I mean?
It is. Joe Rogan seemed to agree. He compared it to, get this, cows genetically engineering wolves,
Right.
creating something they couldn't control,
Wow.
and he was really into the creature's biology.
So the author really goes
And
into
physical
the
adaptation.
nitty-gritty, like,
Oh, yeah, they have long limbs for heat dissipation
interesting.
and a pale complexion because their blood is concentrated around their vital organs. Joe Rogan thought this would look really cool on screen.
Speaking of movies, the author actually uses this species as the captain of a spaceship in the book.
It's pretty cool. But there's a catch.
What's that?
The captain needs special medication, anti-Euclidean drugs, and a visor just to function.
Be on the ship.
In the human-built environment of the ship, can you believe that?
It's like
A species with super intelligence.
needs crutches
Crutches
to be in our.
To survive in the world we built.
It's ironic.
It's very ironic. Yeah. It makes you think about how different their perception of reality must be.
That's true. That's very true.
That's a key element of the book. The author describes this inherent unease that humans feel around these creatures. It's not just fear. It's deeper than that.
Primal almost.
We're dealing with something fundamentally different.
Yeah. Wow.
It's chilling.
Yeah. Definitely chilling.
This brings us to what I think is the most interesting part of Blindside. The author suggests that human consciousness is a maladaptive trait.
Really? Like our ability to be self-aware?
It might be an evolutionary error.
You're saying like our capacity for emotions?
The book explores that, yeah.
I be.
What if sentience, the way we understand it,
A detriment.
is not the peak of evolution, but a
Aye.
detour, a path that leads to our
So we're not like the protagonists of our story. We're more like a...
movie, an anomaly. It challenges the idea that human consciousness is like the ultimate expression of how complex life is.
Right.
What if it's the opposite? What if our ability to think and feel and question
Makes us vulnerable.
is actually what makes us vulnerable? It's
Yeah.
a bleak outlook.
Pretty dark.
Does the book offer any other ways to look at it?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't give a definite answer, but it makes you rethink your assumptions about consciousness.
I see.
Maybe it's not about doom and gloom. Maybe it's a shift in perspective.
Right.
If consciousness is an error, it forces us to reconsider our place in the universe.
It's like the book is saying, what if we're looking at evolution
The wrong way.
the wrong way? Yeah.
What if the traits we think are the best, empathy, creativity, our sense of self,
Are actually holding us
are
back.
actually holding us back? It's a tough concept.
It is, yeah.
And how does this idea tie back into the predator species?
Right.
They have superior intelligence, but they don't have our kind of consciousness.
They're just-
The book describes them as efficient, logical,
Pure logic.
masters of survival, but no emotional depth.
No introspection.
It's a different path, evolutionarily.
like a different.
One that values logic and efficiency over all that emotional stuff.
So the book is showing us two models of intelligence.
Two sides of the same coin?
Humans, brilliant but self-destructive.
Right.
And this predator species,
Driven by logic.
cold, hard logic.
Which one is better?
That's the question.
The one that embraces consciousness or the one that chooses survival?
There's no easy answer.
No. It's a question that stays with you.
It really does, yeah.
It makes you wonder, is there a middle ground?
Is there a way to, like,
A way to have the good parts of consciousness
without...
destroying ourselves?
Yeah. Joe Rogan mentioned that the author is working on a news story
Really?
about this pharmaceutical company trying to bring back this predator species.
Oh, I remember that. He said it was like opening Pandora's box.
Yeah, he was really into that idea.
Yeah,
He compared it to humans.
It speaks to our fascination with the unknown.
Meddling with things we don't understand.
Our tendency to mess with things we don't understand.
Yeah, like this primal fear.
What if we create something that destroys us?
Exactly.
The book really taps into that fear.
In a thrilling but also unsettling way.
Our intelligence.
Our greatest strength.
might also be our greatest weakness.
It's like a common theme in sci-fi.
Yeah, but Blindside goes deeper.
It's not just about a monster, it's about what it means
To be human.
to be human. Yeah.
Makes you think.
It's a really compelling read.
It's a sci-fi thriller, but it also makes you think about consciousness, evolution.
Our place in the universe.
Big questions.
This idea of consciousness as an error, it connects back to that vulnerability to right angles.
That's a good point. Maybe the crucifix glitch is really about the limits of how we see things.
Like how humans perceive things.
Yeah. We create these systems like Euclidean geometry, social rules, even how we see ourselves, and then we get stuck.
Trapped by our own thinking. So maybe this predator species, they don't have those same limits.
Their minds are different. The book says their intelligence is fundamentally different from ours.
So their brains.
They process information in ways we don't get. They aren't weighed down by the same things that limit us.
But they still need those drugs and visors to function in our world.
Right. It's like our way of thinking has taken over.
Become the dominant.
It makes you wonder, is our perception of the world really just our perception?
Not the actual truth.
Maybe it's just a construct, shaped by evolution and how our brains work.
And this pharmaceutical company trying to bring them back? Are we so stuck in our own way of seeing things that we're missing the danger?
It's like Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
We mess with things we don't understand.
And it backfires.
The consequences are bad, but here the monster is like our own fear of consciousness.
Like we're afraid of what we don't know.
And maybe even more afraid of what it says about us.
Blindside really gives you a lot to think about.
It does.
Makes you question what you thought you knew about intelligence and consciousness.
What is reality, even?
Big stuff.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's good to ask these questions. It makes us stretch our thinking.
Look beyond what we think we know.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, what's the takeaway? Should we be scared of these super intelligent predators out there?
Hiding in the shadows.
Maybe the real lesson is about perspective. Blindside reminds us that there are other ways of seeing the world.
Other ways to be intelligent.
Other forms of intelligence. It challenges what it means to be human.
Makes you feel kind of small.
It does. It also reminds us that the universe is full of things we don't understand.
Mysteries we haven't even thought of yet.
Blindside uses science fiction to make us think about these big ideas in a fun way.
Yeah, sometimes the best stories make you question everything.
The ones that make you say, wait a minute.
Yeah, definitely.